Hi Ruslan, I would like to ask you a question on Ukraine. What is going on right now?
Hi Andrei, thank you for question, but at first I want to ask our YouTube viewers to support Andrei. Andrei is one of the most prospective experts of Ukrainian Institute of Politics. He's very professional in Chinese questions and topic. And I think you made a question which is the main question for the world mass media, for the top world mass media. As I understand, there is a common but unofficial plan between unofficial, informal plan between West and Russian Federation. Of course, we understand what is happening around Ukraine is happening between Russian Federation and the United States. And the first scenario of this plan should be persuasion Ukraine to fulfill the Minsk agreement. And the Russian Federation and the United States play roles of good and bad policemen in this situation. Western partners of Ukraine, especially United States and Great Britain, growing up and informational pressure to Ukraine. Their media talk a lot about the future Russian aggression on Ukraine. They made a decision for evacuation their embassies employee. They made a decision to evacuation their citizens. Of course, all these doings made a very bad influence for Ukrainian economy. Ukrainian economy, by the words of Ukrainian president, lose more than $12 billion because of this informational panic around Ukraine. Another side, Russian Federation prepared a new army exercise around the borders of Ukraine. And of course, this exercises was the core for informational campaign through the Western media. And this is like a play of good and bad policemen. Altogether, they're trying to persuade Ukraine to fulfill the Minsk agreement by our hands. Because any formal agreement between these sides is impossible. Any formal agreement with Putin for Biden means crisis, political crisis, and impeachment procedure even more. Any formal agreement between Biden and Putin means for Putin also very hard questions from the Chinese side about partnership between Russian and Chinese side. So the first scenario is persuasion for Ukraine. The second scenario is destabilization. If Ukrainian president and his team will not be sensitive for this new politic of West and East common politic, I think they will start the scenario of destabilization. Looking back, we should remind our viewers about the 2021 political scandals in Ukraine, when many Western or pro-Western media published few waves of articles where Ukrainian president and his team was called like people who has good ties with Russian Federation, or people who takes a lot of bargains, people who made a big corruption inside of Ukraine. Bellingcat investigation, offshore investigation, birthday of Yermak, money laundering from Privatbank, and many cases in 2021 was published in Western and pro-Western media, which made a very big influence for electoral ratings of Ukrainian president. And nowadays we should see that last week we have two more investigations and scandal which was prepared by pro-Western bodies inside of Ukraine, like a National Anti-Corruption Agency, or pro-Western media like a Ukrainian Truth, Ukrainskaya Pravda. And one investigation about the member of parliament, member of presidential fraction in parliament, servant of people, who possible take bad money, $600 bargain. And the second one is the situation about another members of the presidential fraction through him about his road accident when he possible not only was drunk driving the car and injured few people during this car accident, but also he proposed money for policemen and trying to escape from the place of accident. And maybe this is marks that Western partners coming back to the scenario of destabilization. And of course, the third scenario is a scenario of escalation. If the first and the second scenario will not be successful, local escalation on Donbass also is very possible. My colleagues from Donbass say that Russian side is ready for the new small Donbass war, like it was in around Debaltseve, around Donetsk airport struggles. And for me, it's one more main question: why it happens just now? Why not 1 year before, or not in the somewhere in future? I think it's because of Kremlin calculation. They think that Biden is weak to classical president. They accepted the situation when the Merkel gone from the German policy. And new German government is also too young and too weak in this situation. They understand that European Union countries has a great energy deficit, and they depend on a lot of Russian energy in this situation. They understand that the situation of Afghanistan made a very bad influence of American domestic policy. For nowadays, United States are not ready to make any external new intervention after Afghanistan for few years or even more. And of course, the situation with the blocking of Minsk agreements fulfillment and negotiation inside the Minsk agreement, and of course the situation around the OPZZ, Party of Life, and Medvedchuk, pro-Russian party in Ukrainian, their channels, TV channels, which was broken, prohibited strictly 1 year ago. Also broken Kremlin's illusion about that situation in Ukraine should be changed inside of Ukraine, because they have hope to change the situation on the future election. They have hope that representatives of pro-Russian parties will take the victory in presidential election and will take the victory in the next parliamentary election. This illusion was broken by the sanction from the Ukrainian government and Zelensky, and it's also the reason why Russia is trying to to grow up his pressure to Ukraine. Only external instrument they have for nowadays.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Andrei.